Okay, so Thursday, October 13th, 11:43 Newfoundland time, which would be 10:13 in Ottawa. So, I'm just trying to inform another TI Dave on sort of what I'm up to, and it's quite complicated. But the big news out of 2 days ago, or I guess I posted yesterday, was this new individual visited pfi.rocks. So I do traffic analysis because I realized 2 years ago that the international gang stalking syndicate uses ISP addresses to organize their cells geographically, as well as hierarchically, if that makes any sense. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically what finally showed up was, I think, a hit on Kiska, which I've sort of been expecting. I didn't think it would take this long, because he's so involved, and he would rat in a second on the group. He grew up as a carny. So, I mean, he might try to disappear into the underworld with my children, I suppose. But he's at risk because he's just a schlep who basically is very disposable, I think. And so, because I have so much evidence against him, he could just go to prison for life. He would just turn in, all the Bell Baker lawyers who helped him and the crooked judges, Tracy Engel King, this Children's Aid Society of Ottawa. He'd just turn them all in for some sort of deal. So I think this was a hit on him. So anyway, his birthday is September 29th. My birthday is September 28th. So what happens next? So whoever that is in Ottawa reached out to, via 104, reached out to someone in Portland. And then Portland reached out to 161. 161 goes up to here. So now we're in Grand Remous, Quebec. And they've been, someone else has been following me from there for a while. So this, I think, is who's supposed to take out Kiska. and it's because, so the 161, so it gets information from, that path. And then 216, so I'll start with the 209. The 209 comes in from Toronto. I guess if you're a hitman or woman, you're supposed to get your instructions from several different sources to confirm. So the 164, did I highlight it? Where did you come from? It's an earlier one. There's so many. 216, it comes from Portland, Oregon. So, I mean, you might not believe me, but, they know, I know. Other things happened yesterday, too. Connected a few more dots on what's coming out of Kingston and why, and I think I tweeted about that today. So, in the movies, cops use informants to take out the bad guys, but in Ottawa or in real life, cops use gang stalkers to target individuals. So there's that. Let's see what else. I mean, that's just basically the big news from yesterday. And as I mentioned, I've started to receive a couple of death threats that come through anonymously, and it's just very difficult to prove. I'm not worried because I've already had an attempt when I was in Alaska, Anchorage, Alaska, in 2020. And this is another side of the story. Gets very, very interesting. But I wrote about it to Edmonton police there, of when the gunshots were heard right outside my bedroom window, but I think they were taken out. And this story, I was kind of guided to pull these guys in, because to know more about this, you'd have to know more about someone named Kevin Haggerty. And Kevin Haggerty was let's say, an acquaintance of mine throughout high school. I could barely shake him. It all makes sense now. He's also involved in surveillance studies. Anyway, there's a little more information on that, but I'll just leave it for now. So I'm not really worried about my life. What else was I going to say? I was going to talk about that guy in Gatineau. He's RCMP cop. So somebody in Gatineau is basically trailing Catherine McKinney's account, trolling. And he's a cop, so of course he wants, what's-his-face, Sutcliffe to get in and increase the cop budget. Because it's just, Ottawa's just organized crime, covert organized crime. People don't really understand how it works. How do I know all this? Let's see, complicated. So how do I know all this? Basically, I've been trying to divorce the sociopath, John Kiska, since 2013. I realized back then when my kids were about 4 and 6 that he could care less about any of us. And so that's when my targeting really ramped up. So I've basically been dragged through the underbelly of society. This overview, it's my pinned tweet on my Twitter account, KJak. CAEJAK, and I've experienced the criminality of all these organizations that I've listed here, and I have, evidence against a whack of them. And so I'm building out an evidence page, multiple evidence pages, and that's at PFI.rocks, organized crime. I know about 200 of them personally, and so I'm trying to build this out for legitimate law enforcement. What now? Other things I'm working on. I'm attempting to have my. So when I was going through all this crap, I ended up getting charged with 14 different charges. While Kiska used the Children's Aid Society to get sole custody award to him. It was all illegal, all totally illegal. Anyway, now I have a probation order, and which basically they just extorted me into pleading or agreeing. I'm not even pleading guilty. What is it? Agreeing to a probation order, some weird system. And in exchange for me not speaking to my kids for another 3 years. So basically, I'm not even allowed to send my children a birthday gift. I haven't been permitted to send them a birthday gift for years. There's nothing legal about it. And so I'm trying to, get my, I just sent this, oops, that's not the one I sent. I just sent another one this morning, trying to get my probation order transferred to Newfoundland so that I can get in front of a legitimate judge and clean up this mess. And so I've been trying to get an answer out of them since August. Where are we? August 25th. And they won't answer. No one's answering me. That's how crooked the system is. And I don't know who's not involved, to be honest. Of course, I've alerted media, but CBC's certainly not going to say anything because, they're in Ottawa is a hub for human trafficking, period. And because I figured out this model, and I know it exists all over the world because of people who I've connected with on Twitter. So, all that to say, there's so many judges involved. This is, what's-his-face, Callum McLeod. He's a senior judge for the East Region. No details there. I'm not allowed to. It's illegal for me to post the details of the crimes that the judges, the cops, and the Crown prosecutors and the CAS have committed. If I post the evidence, like what's written in here and all the other crap,
then I get arrested. So anyone who doesn't know this really needs to take a hard look at what they believe we have as far as justice system is. It's all smoke and mirrors designed to protect the criminals and the pedophiles and the rapists and the drug dealers and everything else. It's just pure garbage. And they target kids at a really, really, really young age. And, you know, I keep trying to post this online, but yeah, they're so bold about it now. So they've even got apparel, Run 613. So basically they're targeting kids. They're using kids to target kids. I was targeted pretty young. I know my kids are targeted now. And I mean, like, you go back to this page here with who's hitting up my site. Like, where are you? Yeah, there's heavy Irish influence in all this garbage. Yeah, my mother. My mother's in on it. She's been on it like since I turned 5. Since they picked me off as not a sociopath, I've been fed into this freaking system. And that's why this thing was tossed in my path the second I entered high school. It's nasty. Oh, yeah.